Hello and welcome back. Exciting day we've already had. I think we've got many more sessions to go. I hope all of you have been a part of many sessions that have been happening through the day. You of course know that you got to tweet at Attire Delhi with hashtag iDay. We've been bringing you sessions all the day through. We've just wrapped up an exciting one in space of education. In these halls here, we've got a new workshop starting with building apps through AI, building apps that help you leverage AI, building apps, how you build better apps to get better user acquisition. So this is the more hands-on track that we have brought you at iDay, and you've all been benefiting through it. We have with us here today Amitabh Nagpal from AWS. AWS has been our very active supporter through the years as well as this year, and they have put together these string of workshops that's going to, by the end of the 2 days, empower you to do better in whatever you are building. Amitabh heads the startup ecosystem for in Amazon Internet Services. He's been a serial entrepreneur before. He's been a TIE charter member for many years. He's got a passion for entrepreneurship and through technology. He's founded companies in the space of healthcare, education, telecom. He's a product management strategy person with many years of 25 plus years of experience behind him. So I don't think we want to miss any hands-on session that he's put together. So happy to welcome Amitabh here. Amitabh, over to you.
Thanks, Basna. Thanks for this. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can see my. I hope you can see the slides, and this is all about why AWS and how we actually work with startups, and how our journey has been helping startups innovate and scale. So if you go 10, 15 years or 20 years back, fine, and you were an entrepreneur, you wanted to start a startup, you wanted compute resources, you wanted networking, and you wanted storage, you would go and procure something. That has changed. Today, on just basic elementary needs, you can actually get compute and you can start your journey. Right? So we've actually made the journey of a startup very simple. So if you look at what we have done, is we have enabled on-demand delivery of computing power, database storage, and other IT resources via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. That means depending upon how you compute and how much compute needed, you can actually use it. This looks to be a very small thing, but if you look at in a case of business models that have got created by, let's take Netflix. Right? We all see Netflix, we all see movies, but if you look at the consumption of content that happens during night vis-a-vis that during happens day, and if, for example, Netflix had to use compute resources throughout the day, the same that they had, this business model for them wouldn't have succeeded. Fine. Right now, they can actually get computing power at night, get IT resources at night when we all see it, and in the morning that those compute resources can be used by somebody else. So this is what the cloud has done, and this is, I guess, from the journey that from Amazon or AWS that started in 2006. This is where we have invented and innovated and got this to the customers, and I would say this has been a great catalyst for startup innovation. And if you actually look at, there is, first of all, cost is a huge thing in startups. When you are actually starting off, either you're starting off with no money or with seed money, and when you have seed money, you actually want to invest that into the right places. You want to invest that into the right product, build the right product, hire the right people. We enable that to happen, fine. So we enable you to get the early cloud credits that you can actually, with zero or very less upfront cost, test out and build your proof of concept, try and get a product market fit. And once you've got that, you can use services that AWS has created, which could be for AI/ML, which could be for IoT, which could be for AR/VR, and we'll discuss more of these services that align with your align with your product roadmap, align with your business to actually help you experiment, launch faster. In a world today that you can actually experiment and launch faster, that's a huge competitive advantage. And it also allows you to do that at a fundamental lower risk, because you are actually getting these services quite built from AWS, on top of which you can actually innovate and create your platform. And this allows also one more thing, it allows you to actually just focus on your business value. You don't actually have to go and build the entire engineering stack, understand how software is going to be deployed, how databases are going to be managed, or how some of these services, like even for example in AI ML, some of the services that actually let you read documents, let you extract text from documents, are all that you get, and you can actually create very innovative applications in any vertical with the core infrastructure that we provide to you. And this itself becomes a flywheel for innovation. Fine. So low upfront cost, something that entrepreneurs and investors like, fast speed to market, something that everybody of us wants to experiment faster as an entrepreneur. Fine. So as I said, if you go to 99, look at the startup cost, 5 million. In 2005, it was 500K. 2010, we've got it down to even less than 50K, fine. And it is continuously going down. So today you are an entrepreneur in college, you have an exciting idea, you can actually get compute, storage, memory in the quantum that you want to use it. We've got many startup programs that I'll talk about later, but you don't need to bother about the cost that you will pay. You could actually do something on robotics, because there are robotic services, but you only pay for what you use, and that also in a subscription manner. So fundamentally, if you bring the cost of ownership of infrastructure down, just look at it and reflect what happens to innovation. The innovation curve goes dramatically the opposite, and that is the reason you are seeing number of startups coming in the way they are coming in. And what you see in India is actually a global phenomena. You see industries getting disrupted. You see a lot of software and compute being available. Industries from entertainment, industries in manufacturing to mobility, all have multiple entrepreneurs who are creating these solutions. And one prime thing that is actually dictating this is the cost of compute is come down for you to innovate dramatically. The team that we have to support you in your journey is a global team, has been specifically curated and created. They understand you. They understand the emotions that a startup entrepreneur goes through. They understand how money is raised. This team comprises of either some people who have actually worked as investors, or people who've actually gone and built startups. Because if you are a startup entrepreneur, you are going to have a journey of your own. You are going to start with a tissue paper. You're going to raise capital. Then you're going to go for your Series A, Series B, Series C. We understand that process. We understand what help you need at different stages. And the team comes to you, and as later on I actually go through the presentation, we will show you that at different stages, what programs that you have, that you can always call us, because we are positioning our services as actually a partner. We only grow as you grow. And that is one reason, if you look at the logos here, these are some of the most marquee, I would say, venture capital ecosystems in the world today. Fine. We all have heard of Y Combinator. We partner with them. We partner with KPCAB, Techstars, Anderson Horowitz. So we actually work with some of the leading venture capitalists, and even in India, we work very, very closely with Nexus, Sequoia, Matrix, all the large investors, and even investors that have just recently come up and set up close to $100 million, $200, $300 million funds, or people who are investing in, who are supporting, there is a massive early stage capital that has come through. Some of the angel investors who have been entrepreneurs themselves earlier, and people have actually created what we would call is very specialized, dedicated, specialized, say, fintech funds or healthcare funds. They may be $30 to $50 million funds, but we actually work with them very, very closely, and they partner with us very, very closely. And that is because of the years of experience that we have in supporting some of their startups that have actually gone really, really big. So you will ask what we do. Fine. We don't invest cash or we take any equity position. Our interest is that as you succeed and you grow, fine, we learn from you and we grow along with you. But what we do is that we invest something called AWS credits. We have a phenomenal program called AWS Activate. As you start, we help you with AWS credits. Those credits let you start and use compute, so you don't pay for compute. And as you scale up, we have a program that actually extends the number of credits that you get. We invest our time. We have a team of solution architects to support you. They come and look at your architecture. They suggest what services to use and how you can actually build on AWS and scale. Right? So in addition to that, as you build, you get a lot from our AWS. We call it an Activate console, but you get a lot of content and knowledge as to how you can use those services. And as you grow, you are working very closely with some of our team members who would help you in even reaching out to investors, even reaching out to customers. And those programs I have more depth on those programs later on. We'll call you. I'll explain them a little later. But if you look at it, fine, you are an entrepreneur and you want to start something. Earlier, you would actually have to buy your computers. You will have to invest in storage. You will have to invest in networking. Today, if you are enabled to start your entrepreneurial journey without actually thinking about the technology need, the infrastructure need, the compute need, you can start an AI/ML company, and that requires a real lot of investment in training. But see, this is where we are. And once that happens, we are not taking any equity for the credits. And for those people who've just raised capital, if you look at the early stages, you are raising $1 million, giving a tangible amount of equity. The credits that we give you, the credits that are given, and the support that comes, you are able to take that capital and put that into an investment in how you build your product, hiring tech talent, hiring salespeople, and maybe even marketing and reaching out. So that enables you to spend money very wisely and using AWS resources in terms of talent availability as well as Activate credits to keep building your platform on AWS. Our value adds to the entrepreneur is we do architectural reviews. We'll sit down and say, this is how best you can design it. Often we have seen startup teams are led by business people, and they might not have the technical depth. Or if even they have the technical depth, a technical review with a solution architect from AWS is always very good. And sometimes in fintechs, we've actually seen what we can even do to grown up some growth stage startups where we have actually done a detailed technical architecture review and even actually come back with how you can implement security as a best practice. How should you use technology in terms of serverless or containers or security is a guidance that you get from our architects, and they are actually available as you are building in your journey from just the founding to the early stage, and then you want to release a product. And one area that all our teams will come in, that we work from thinking the customer first. And as we do that, we are very sensitive as to how you've designed it, because later on we make sure that you're optimized in terms of agility, performance, as well as cost. So we don't compromise the fact that you can innovate faster. We want you to be able to innovate faster. We want you to be agile. We want you to be able to release and test experimental features very fast. But at the same time, we are actually very cognizant that the cost of cloud is also something that we understand, and we want to make sure that that there is a discipline there. And one more, what is not very known outside is the help that we provide in beyond infrastructure. And we call that beyond infrastructure because this is related to the functions of maybe marketing in your marketing, your team, or distribution, or even to the CEO in terms of capital raising. We actually have a program on the GTM side, which is co-marketing. We'll talk about that later. We have a program on introducing you to how you can go and do capital raise. We enable that to happen. And at times, you want to experiment something, we actually enable you to do POCs by providing you certain credits, which again you can use to actually develop the functionality that you want to experiment with. And if you want to use sometimes a tangible service, which is new, we actually might just partner with you and build it. Fine. So those programs are in detail a little later, but our partnership with you extends beyond technical. Technical is very depth, as I have mentioned, but in addition to that, there is a very defined go-to-market and a POC, and POC is a part of the go-to-market. So there is a very focused area where the BD team especially works very, very closely with you as a startup founder, helping you navigate maybe the earlier customers. Some of the programs that are here, and I'll go in few of them in some detail. AWS Activate, which is a flagship program. Globally, a lot of startups actually benefit through that. This is a program that I'll talk about it in the next few slides, but fundamentally it's about in the first 1.5 year or the first 6 months, you're pretty much able to use save your most expensive equity money on needs of building rather than this. Startup Migrate is a program that helps you take a workload that might be in a local cloud or might be somewhere else, and you want to actually put all your workloads in somewhere, but it takes time for that workload to actually get operationalized on, say, AWS. During that time, we make sure that you're not actually paying two places, that one on AWS and then maybe on a local data center. And as you migrate from a local data center to AWS, we actually enable you to easily migrate to AWS. And we are cognizant that you should not be spending the compute and the cloud at that time at two different places. So you're able to get migrate credits. I briefly talked about the well-architected reviews. Our solution architects work very, very closely with you to actually do a deep dive on architecture. Jumpstart is a program that I briefly mentioned earlier. It's something that we work with you, we partner with you and say, hey, this is something that you want to experiment. This is an AML, this is a new offering. Say you are in insurance and you want to create a personalized insurance as a product. So we'll actually come back and say, you know what, let's write the spec together. We understand that you want to create a product functionality which is based on personalized. We will get a partner with an investment from both your side and our side. We will help you build that. And the reason we do that is to get a new service tested, which actually enables you to succeed and actually enable you to expedite your roadmap. Fine. And sometimes we see people don't have the AML talent. They come to us. We actually use this program, work with a partner, and are able to expedite the roadmap, even on skills and competencies that they don't have. Startup mentorship is a phenomenal program that we do. We have startups that have scaled from tissues to becoming really, really large unicorns. Fine. So you will have startups that have scaled to transactions of millions and millions. Fine. So we get CEOs together, we get product managers together, we get CTOs together. We actually enable them to meet people who've done it before, and they're able to ask questions on how to hire, how do you build the culture, should you be hiring, what kind of compensations that you want to get, or how you should be able to motivate people. So from talent to culture, you are able to actually learn from learn from people who've done it, who've scaled up. And this program happens at a regional level in India. It also happens at a little larger level that I would say could be between larger geographies, between India, Singapore, Australia. Fine. So we are able to create a mentorship community even globally, where you are able to learn from similar startups. That's basically you're creating a gaming startups, and how do you actually solve for latency. You are able to actually speak to startups, maybe other geographies who've actually solved for that. Then AWS Connections is where we actually take startups and actually connect them to enterprise customers. Capital Connect is where we actually enable you to reach out to investors. So we nominate startups that we think some investors will invest in, and we actually connect that. AWS Marketplace is if you are a software in ISP SaaS, you list your services and a product on the marketplace. We enable that to be sold by the large enterprise customers that we actually give to, and we've seen a lot of uptake here. We've got one of the most richest marketplace in terms of the number of applications. Alexa Fund and Accelerator is where we actually invest in startups that are building on top of Alexa and Accelerator some use cases that could be conversational, that could be very different. For any of these benefits, you can, there's an account manager in your team. You can reach out to them. There are solution architects, so you reach out to them. And there's enough public. There's a lot of information on our site, which is mentioned here, that how you can actually use AWS for getting help on the architecture reviews. Similarly on startup mentorship, as I said, that we all come with a very big experience in raising capital and building companies. We've actually even reached out to some of our founders, and they have actually become mentors. So that pool of mentors is available to every single startup, and specifically to people starting up. AWS Connections helps startups reach to enterprise customers. Today, if you are building, say, predictable maintenance solution, fine. So we'll get some people from manufacturing. If you are in the fintech, there'll be banks that will get connected. So we've done a lot of innovation days that we actually get leading CEOs, leading chief digital officers. They actually want to see out what's happening in the startup space. And for the startups who are building that, it's a great form to actually validate your assumptions as to what you're doing, one, and you get a chance to do a proof of concept. And the POC can actually result into a customer win. And I think that given the scale of operations that AWS has, that we work with enterprise and startup customers, this is something of a great value add that we offer to our startup, or to all our startups. Capital Connect, as we said, that we work with a lot of investors. We are able to connect the dots, get you introductions there. APN program is actually part of helps in the go-to-market. Fine. So if you're a SaaS ISV, we enable you to become a part of the APN. Here you get go-to-sell support. You get you get co-sell, co-market, and co-building, all motions from AWS. Co-market is you'll get marketing dollars to spend in conferences, events. Take your product there. Co-develop is that we actually work with you to create a POC, and co-sell is that we take you to customers who are our customers, but we feel that you will solve problems for them. And specifically for SaaS ISV, we have seen this to be very, very successful. Some of the leading SaaS ISVs are actually a part of our APN program. AWS Marketplace is, as I said, a list of applications that are on top of it, that get listed here, and customers have access to that. If they want to use your services, it actually enables you to actually do marketing and billing, everything in the AWS market. Your application actually reaches the customer through AWS. Your billing, your sales, everything is managed through AWS then. And Alexa Fund that we've said. So in nutshell, these are things that we do. Fundamentally, you look at it, it all goes down to how we have innovated, the number of services, 200 plus services that we've created, whether you are doing robotics, whether you're doing something in AI/ML, whether it's an IoT based space satellite, something for agri. The services that we have help you innovate much faster than you would have 5 years, 6 years earlier, with much, much less capital. And I can actually, as an entrepreneur who's done it 2 times, 3 times before, tell you that this is one reason that you see innovation happening, startups happening the way they are happening right now. Because if you could not innovate so fast with the capital that is now needed, there is no way so many startups would have got created. With that, thank you. And I will just open this for questions. Feel free to ask questions, and I'm all ears for you. Yeah. So which sectors, there's a question, which sectors do you see potential growth in India? Does AWS support startups with more? Yeah. So I think the sectors that we are now seeing growing, and we're doing a lot of work in, we've seen fintech. All of us have benefited from, just the whole UPI infrastructure that has got created. And as that has got created, we are able to see a lot of people who are not banked becoming bankable. We are seeing very different companies coming in the lending. As lending becomes a little more mature, you will see cost of capital going down. That will even spur more innovation. So fintech is huge. In terms of hardware, there are areas that we are seeing. I would say IoT is going to be one. The use of IoT in supply chain, in manufacturing, in some places in sensors, in agri, is going to be a lot. And it's a matter of time how that takes up. But we definitely see a huge uptake in deep tech, IoT, and solutions where hardware and software will work together. The second question that we have is, how does a startup journey look like working with Amazon ecosystem, and how can we see ourselves grow with AWS? I think this is a great question. Fine. So I think a lot of it I've answered it, but I'll just put it in a little more depth and detail. Fine. You start up, you're not clear from a perspective when the capital will come. The startup is an ambiguity. Fine. It's a journey of a lot of unknowns. And at that point of time, you come to us, you reach us, and we enable you to start the journey, and we give you cloud credits. You start building on AWS. Our technical architects come in. You attend sessions, and we still engage with you. So we've given you credits. We've given you knowledge. And as you start building and as you start scaling that, we help you scale. There are a lot of sessions that we help you build scale on it. And as you grow and maybe you raise a Series A, you get a little more credits. And even a Series A is not certain that you've got product market fit. So you want to make sure that your capital is going in the right places, right product, right talent, right tech, right people that you're hiring. So we again give you more credits. And that way you kind of build a product. You've kind of got a product market fit. As you get a product market fit, we are able to connect you with investors. Fine. We are able to connect you with outside go-to-market help. So we've got go-to-market motions, we've got investors, we've got credits, and we've got tech. Fine. So it's look at it. Fine. Our involvement is 360 in your success. And as you scale, we connect you with mentors, and you scale further. We actually enable you to partner with the larger Amazon ecosystem, which has EVs. There are many business units in Amazon that work very, very closely with companies that have raised Series C, Series D. So at different stages, we have created different playbooks for entrepreneurs to actually get mentorship. And the mentorship could be very early, and the mentorship could also be at a Series C. We actually did a huge mentorship for companies that wanted to go IPO using SPACs at one time. fine. So our mentorship programs are also cut across the entire spectrum, fine. So there is from Series A to Series C companies who want to go global. So, if you look at it, we are helping startups in India go reach and sell to US. And how do we do that? We actually reach out to startups that are on AWS in Israel and different regions who've done that. And through that mentorship, we provide that thinking. So our work is with startups in all stages. I hope but that's a great question. What type of investors can AWS help us raise capital from? So we connect you with very early with investors across, fine, as a part. So we nominate you to early stage investors, to investors who got funds which are close to $30-50 million. And if you want a connection with some of the large institutional investors, we will even connect you there, fine. Because we work honestly with every single investor. We support all their startups. We do a lot of events with them. And all of us are motivated by actually expanding the ecosystem, and that aligns our interests and we work fine. So our network is pretty vast, and we are able to connect you not only with the local region, but maybe with partnerships beyond even India. If we could have cloud agnostic solution be offered, can we still get if you get AWS credits and you're a part of Activate, those will be a part of, you will build on AWS, fine. And at the beginning stages, I would say is, your focus should be to get the product market fit right, get the initial customers, fine, and go and partner with somebody who's done that for the last 20 years, fine. Time cannot be crunched. The experience that we have as a startup when we started, and then the number of startups that have actually built on AWS and becomes so scalable and so large, the experience that you get from those startups, us to build your startup, I think is something that is great. And as I said, that the richness of our services at the cost is something that is all designed to actually make you successful. Kindly discuss in detail about startup mentoring. I think we've talked about mentoring a lot in terms of CTO mentoring, CEO mentoring, how do you take startups global, how do you actually list through SPAC, how do you actually take a D2C startup and sell on Amazon. So mentoring can be, there are many programs on mentoring. What is the future of EdTech? I think this is a great question. I think if you look at, this is a question I'll answer given the fact that I spent some time in education. There are always some moments in any industry that happen, fine. And I think COVID has been such a moment that online was a choice to do. It was not a necessary to do. But an event like that had every school kid, have every college kid doing online. So when an event like that happens, the catalytic forces of disruption are very high, right? So it's an event that has changed education, has changed how education will be seen. It's a great time to disrupt it. It's a great time to innovate in education, and look at the number of Indian startups in education that are unicorns. They lead, actually education India is leading, I would say one of the leading in the world of number of startups, and cloud makes it happen, fine. You look at the way content can be created by a teacher, given it to a student anywhere. It's fundamentally cloud that makes it happen, fine. So a combination of evolution of tech, combination of certain events that have happened, and an event, something like where every kid was studying online or had to study online, just took the friction away. So I think education is something that should be as one of the key areas that we will see a lot of innovation in. For SaaS product startups, will AWS give the support for startups in terms of funding and technology? If yes, how do we connect with you? As I said, we help starting up. We want to help every startup. So dollar investment is not what we do. We actually give every startup an ability to start, that they don't have to create their own cloud infrastructure. So you can reach out to us and tell us what you're doing. Reach out to your investor, or your investor will reach out to us, or you feel reached out. In fact, what we've also done recently is we've actually created a strategic cohort of helping startups in SaaS. So we've actually built in SaaS cohort, SaaS as an expertise. We actually help you. How do you build SaaS? How do you market SaaS? So SaaS is a very big part of our three verticals. So just reach out to our team and we will guide you as to how you can help you build and scale a SaaS. As he said, we have a program that we can introduce you to investors. We will definitely do that. But SaaS is a very core part of it. I would say is a very core part of and a specialized segment that we have actually within the startup AD section. Is there any initial employees count? Just look into a startup, what minimum size? No, you could be a single founder and building it, we'll support you. So there is no, we don't look at and say that you have to have a team. A lot of time that we start working with you is when it's a tissue, when you could be on just a tissue paper. So you could be a single founder and or just a 2-founder team. You don't need to have a team per se to work with us. For seed level startups, will AWS support us? Absolutely. As I said, it's not only seed, we will actually support you even if you don't have funding and you want to experiment, right? So our support goes from absolutely from bootstrap to seed funded to the large funded companies. And where we are actually going a little more is something that I'll talk a little more about it, given that that also is necessary. We actually see what the trends are. And, we've actually gone and created strategic cohorts where we actually invite applications. So whenever there's a healthcare cohort, you can actually apply for that. We partner with an investor and build that. So we've actually built a healthcare HCLX expertise. How healthcare startups will come in, because we see a lot of startups in healthcare where digital health is picking up, given the healthcare infrastructure in India has miles to go. Fintech is one area that we are doing a lot of. We've got a special focus on it. We've got a team just focused on fintech. AI/ML is another area. We've got a team just focused on AI/ML, how you can use AI/ML to do medical imaging, to actually increase, there's a lot of push on agri, how you can actually do productivity gains or increase yield in agri, fine. So both agri and AI/ML, gaming, healthcare, these are really areas for us that we are helping startups start, mentor, and scale. Fine. So in a nutshell, see, our involvement goes from very early to very late across different verticals, and in a very 360 manner, helping you on the cloud credits, which is saving you cost, helping you technology, which is enabling technical enablement to happen, because tech talent is today very tough to find, and then even helping on the go-to-sell and the go-to-market motions across different areas. And we have a team across Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, in all the regions, actually, to support you all. I think with that, I think there are no other questions, and if there are more, I think you can just put them in the chat. Otherwise, I think we are all good.
Thank you, Amitabh. That was a very informative session. This session was powered by AWS. If the audience has any other questions, you can leave a note and we can pass it on to AWS. And please join us for other exciting sessions in Hall 1. Thank you so much again.
Thanks a lot.